Good morning. God bless you, class. How are you all? You must be tired at home. Look, I bring a new lesson every day to activate your energies. Yes, today we will study about another term that is compound. Chapter 3 began with a detailed discussion with so many examples of elements as a pure substance. And we saw that a periodic table is classifying all the elements according to their chemical property, atomic number. And we also noticed then when atomic number is classifying all the elements, we are seeing the properties are repeating them. So when we study elements in a group, that becomes easier to predict the chemical properties. But when we see them in a row, in a period, we see their electronic configuration or the number of electrons in their orbits are increasing by 1. We are also observing that where metals are gathered and where non-metals are gathered, where they are placed. We also can see the noble gases places there. So after this discussion means after accepting and understanding that elements are the purest form of matter, they are so pure so that they cannot be divided and classified further, physically or chemically. Now today we will learn about compounds. You saw all the elements in the periodic table, but not a single compound. So where they are gathered, where they are classified? The compounds are not classified in any of the periodic table because there is no room for them. Because compounds are not the purest form of matter. These are the substances which are made after chemical reaction. When atoms combine, they react. And when they react, they exchange their electrons or they share their electrons, the outermost electrons, and they make a chemical bond. This is a chemical reaction which makes a compound. And sometimes a compound is defined as the substance when two or more chemical elements are combined by chemical bond. And how they combine, it becomes the type. Sometimes the elements combine by forming ions, means they form ionic compounds in which ions are chemically bonded by ionic bonds. And when they share their electrons, means when they hold their electrons by covalent bonds, they form a covalent compound. And in doing so, in their chemical combination, they combine with a fixed ratio by mass. So every time we can see this is a chlorine molecule, chlorine unit, in which two chlorine atoms are chemically combined. When we see the unit H2O, a water molecule, two hydrogen atoms are chemically bonded to one oxygen atoms. Similarly, in a unit molecule of nitrogen dioxide, two oxygen atoms are combined to one nitrogen atom. Similarly, the carbon dioxide is also a compound in which two oxygen atoms are chemically bonded to one carbon atom. So the condition to form a compound is the mixing of elements in a fixed ratio. For example, water is a compound. Water is a compound which is the need of life, which is in need of all living things. And the molecule of water is telling us that two hydrogen atoms are chemically bonded to one oxygen. So if hydrogen and oxygen, these two elements are combining with this ratio 2:1, every time they will be forming a compound water. Another aspect of studying a compound is that elements lose their identity. They do not possess their old properties. Like hydrogen is an element, hydrogen is a gas. Similarly, oxygen is also a gas. But when they combine, they form a chemical bond and they form something liquid. Means the compound has its own characteristic properties. The elements do not retain their properties. Another example is salt. Look, sodium is a metal which is gray shiny element. In the previous class I showed it to you. And chlorine is a greenish yellow color gas. But when they combine, they form a white solid, that is salt. Chlorine is a poisonous gas and sodium is an explosive metal. But when they form, they make something which is eatable. Yes, this is the salt, sodium chloride, which is used to add taste in our food. Another very important example is sand. Sand is something or a compound in which one silicon is bonded to two oxygen atoms. Look at the physical properties of both of the elements combining, but look at the properties of sand. Then another example, the student's favorite, chalk. Yes, chalk is a solid and this is white in color, but it is colored sometimes to make more attractive writing on boards. So chalk is a compound which has calcium, carbon and oxygen. It's made up of three types of elements. Yes, calcium, carbon and oxygen. And another very interesting thing about it, it is an ionic compound. Then the very sweetie sugar. Sugar is an organic compound. It also adds sweetness in our eatables. But it's composed of carbon, which is a non-metal, hydrogen, which is a non-metal gas, and oxygen, which is a non-metal gas. And look at the physical state of sugar. It's white solid and its taste is, yes, very sweet. The very growing industry of the century is plastics. You see, plastic is composed of carbon and hydrogen. And you know why this N is placed here? Because it is a polymer in which this unit is repeating many times. And we cannot live our life completely without using plastics, because these are adding color to our life. Now you can write more about the usage of plastics. So today's task is you have to write the points which will be differentiating between element and compound. So here you go with your daily assignment and you try to write it, and you can read the topic from the internet or you must read the topic from your textbook to make better understanding of this new topic. Thank you, class. God bless you and be prepared for your weekly assignment. God bless you.